All right, you all. So this is part 2 of the Q&A video about me teaching and living in South Korea. If you haven't watched part 1, make sure to watch that after or before you watch this video. All right, so I ended part 1 talking about different culture shock experiences that I've had. And the next question is kind of juicy, so get ready. No, actually, it's a juicy question, but my answer isn't going to be juicy. So, how are the men there in South Korea? Ooh. Okay, so first I want to say that I am not currently dating here, so I can't really speak a lot about this topic. But I can say that if I was interested in dating a Korean man, it wouldn't be difficult, and I could definitely make that happen. When I say dating, I don't mean being in a committed relationship or being, you know, on the road to marrying a Korean man. Like I said before, I haven't really did any casual dating with Korean men, so I can't really speak on that aspect of it at all. But I can say that if I wanted to go on a date with a Korean guy or go out to eat or get to know a Korean guy better, it would be easy because I have been approached by Korean men in the past by several of them, you know, asking to get to know me better and you know, showing interest. So it is possible. Now, particularly for people who live in the city, because I live in Daegu, so it's like a metropolitan city. However, if it's like a rural area, I'm not really sure. Maybe it'll be a little more difficult to date Korean men because, you know, they may not be as worldly or as used to meeting foreigners. But overall, I would say that the guys they're just guys here. Even though they may seem really innocent and, you know, really courteous, you really do have to be careful because there are good men and bad men in every culture. I want to tell you a little short story about an experience I had a few weeks ago when I traveled to Busan with one of my friends. So I was out, you know, in the nightlife with me and 2 friends, and we were just walking, and it was 2 guys behind us. 2 attractive. They were very attractive Korean guys, and they were, you know, calling us, trying to approach us, get our attention. And me, as I mentioned in my old video, like my previous video, I am not interested in meeting guys, you know, at bars or clubs or anything like that, because I just feel like it's gonna lead to somewhere I don't want it to lead to. They're probably going to be interested in something I'm not interested in. So I wanted to just ignore them and keep walking. But my friends were answering to them, and, you know, they stopped and talked to them. So I don't want to be like the one odd person out who's being, you know, like closed off or something. So I'm like, oh, I guess I'll go back there and see what they're talking about. So they're talking to the 2 Korean guys, and, you know, they're just getting to know each other, asking each other questions. And then the conversation led to them asking like, hey, do you want us to, you know, be your tour guide, show you around to a few places? So we were like, yeah, sure. And I'm still at this point like feeling kind of hesitant about this whole situation. But I go through with it, and they show us some cool places, some cool scenes. We went to some areas by the beach, and we saw like this beautiful bridge that's in Busan. I don't know the name of it, but it's really breathtaking. And we ended the night with them eating Korean barbecue, and they were gracious enough to pay. And, you know, one of the guys was serving us, and it was just nice. It was a positive atmosphere. But then at the end of the night, we proceeded to leave them because it was like 3 a.m. at this point. So we were like, all right, you know, we're about to split up, you know, go our separate ways and go back to our hotel. And the guy was like, oh, where's your hotel? And I'm like, you know, I'm too smart to tell them, oh, our hotel is right here. This is where we're going to be resting our heads. I don't know these guys. So I was like, oh, you know, I kind of brushed that question off, and I was like, oh, you know, it's somewhere on the other side of town, blah, blah, blah. So we got in the taxi, and we were like, bye. And then one of the guys, the more bold one, he actually got in the taxi too. And he was like, oh, I want to know where you guys are going. So he got in the passenger seat. And I was showing the taxi driver my phone, which had the address in Korean of the hotel. And he proceeded to look at my phone to see where we were going. And then he was like, oh, yeah, my mother lives in that area. So I'm actually headed in that area too. Let's, take a taxi together and go there. And at this point, I'm just like, yeah, the situation is definitely going somewhere I don't want it to go. So we're all driving off, me, my two friends, and this Korean guy. And the Korean guy is like, so what are you guys getting into tonight? And I was like, my bed. And I was really firm. I was like, I'm going to my hotel and I'm going right to sleep, like right away. I'm going to sleep. And my friends kind of went along with me and they were like, yeah, we're going to our hotel. We're going to bed. We're tired. So at that point, you can kind of see on the guy's face that he's a little disappointed. And then he started talking to the cab driver in Korean. Me or my friends understand Korean at this point. So he talks to the cab driver in Korean, and then he turns to us and he's like, hey, so I'm about to go to this store and get something to drink for us. What do you guys want? And we're like, okay, he's offering, let's just get some water. So we asked him for some water, and the cab driver stops the car, and then the Korean guy's like, all right, I'll be back, and left out to go to the store. And then as soon as he closed the door, the cab driver continues to drive. And it took a minute for us to realize what happened. But basically, the Korean guy found out that we weren't interested in continuing the night with him. So he was like, he turned to the cab driver and told him, hey, drop me off here and then continue on and take them to their hotel. So that just kind of taught me like, you have good guys and bad guys everywhere. So don't let the kindness of Korean guys and, that their personality fool you, because they are slick and a lot of them have the same goals and the same ideas as guys you met in the United States or anywhere else in the world. So you really do have to be careful and keep your eye out for the good guys and the bad guys if you are interested in dating Korean men. So yeah, that was my little story about that. So interesting. But anyways, the next question that I got says, how was the work environment? All right, so in the past, before I got here, I realized that people would talk a lot about their life in Korea, but they wouldn't really speak on their work environment that much. And now that I'm here, I realize that the reason they probably do that is because it's really a gray area about what's appropriate to talk about concerning your job and what it's not, because I'm putting this business out there on social media, and I really do want to be careful about including things that could catch up to me. You know what I mean? So I really have to be careful about that. But I will say that the work environment is good. My job, I don't feel like it's too much. I don't feel like it's too stressful or too much for me to deal with. I feel like the workload is just enough to where I wouldn't want any more, but like it's a comfortable balance. So I am currently teaching about 21 classes a week, and I have a lot of time to sit at my desk and prepare for future lessons or whatever I need to do or handle any other business that I need to handle. So I love the workload. And also just know that when you are teaching, you're going to have your students who are good, also awesome students. You're also going to have your students that give you a hard time or sleep in your class or mock you when you're talking, whatever. You're going to have those type of students. So don't come here expecting it to be some fairy tale world. You will have some troubled students that will get on your nerves at times. So just be ready for that. And yeah, so that's what I will say about the work environment overall. The next question is meeting friends. Once again, I don't know how broad this answer will be because I do live in a city, like a major city. But I will say that I haven't had a hard time meeting friends. I am having a difficult time, or I wouldn't say difficult, but I am having somewhat of a challenge finding people who I really want to spend a lot of time with, because you can meet hundreds of people, but all of those people are not going to necessarily click with you or be on the same wavelength as you. So, yes, you can meet a lot of people. When you come to teach abroad, particularly in Korea, you can meet many, many people, but the hard part will just be meeting people who you really want to invest a lot of time in. All right, and the last question is finances. How are my finances here? How am I managing my money? So one benefit of teaching abroad, particularly in Korea, is that the salary is pretty good. So I can honestly say that I don't have any financial worries right now. I don't feel a need to do a lot of budgeting or to, you know, any of that. I don't feel the need to budget because I feel like since they like give me an apartment and everything, that's a big bill that I don't have to worry about. I don't have to worry about paying rent, and the utilities are really minimal. I think I pay under $100 a month, and my phone bill is about $45 a month. So financially, I'm doing pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, and I can already tell that I'm gonna be able to save a good amount of money while I'm here, and I'll do a future video about this. But financially, I think teaching abroad is great for those who want to live comfortably and still save for a rainy day or pay off student loans, anything like that. I think teaching abroad is a good way to do that. All right, but this is my question and answer video for you all. I hope you learned something from this video and continue to interact with me on here and continue to ask me questions. But until next time, I will talk to you later.